Welcome to Relatable Wisdom, the podcast where real people share timeless ideas. I'm your host, Wisdom Okonkwo, and in every episode we dive into the philosophies, quotes, points, and life lessons that shape how we live, think, and grow. No matter where you are in life, this show is here to remind you wisdom is everywhere, and it's always relatable most of the times. Tell us your name and what you do.
Sure. My name is Dr. Jenn Kennedy, and I am a sex and couples therapist.
Okay. Thank you for accepting my invitation to be a guest on the podcast, Dr. Jen.
Yeah, good to be here.
Okay. Uh, what's your favorite quote? I know you have a lot, but what's the favorite quote you're going to share with us today?
My quote is by Brené Brown, and it's "Connection is why we are here. It is what gives us purpose and meaning to our lives." That is everything. I mean, I'm a therapist, and I think that connection is, especially with couples, is where it's at, right? Everything between people is about connection. Sometimes we're seeking validation, sometimes we're seeking meaning, but so often it's really about my connection to you. It's about my connection to other. And when we have that, we feel so different than when we are by ourselves, right? Or when we're with another person, but we don't feel connection. I think it's the gold actually between one another. When we build that bridge and we feel connected, we feel altogether different. I think that's invaluable.
What is connection?
Connection? That reminds me of a quote about pornography, which is, you know it when you see it. But in this case, you know it when you feel it. With connection, right? We just had it because you laughed when I said that. Connection is so palpable. It's like when you've said something or when you've done something in connection, it resonates. It feels like we're joined. There's a joining component to it that feels heartening. It feels like for a moment we are one, or we are on the same team, and that feels really meaningful. And as a therapist that sees couples, that's what I'm going for, right? I'm trying to help people feel like they're on the same team and they're heading in the same direction. They're not the same person, of course, but they're going in the same direction, and that's meaningful.
I know what you're talking about, right? I know what connection is, but I'm trying to understand and know what connection is from what you're explaining. And the 5-year-old in me doesn't get it. I mean, I do understand what you said. I get it. I know what it means. But can you explain to me, like, I'm just, 5 years, auntie, what is connection? What will you tell me?
Well, if you're 5 years old, connection is going to be when I look in your eyes. Connection is going to be when I pick you up and hold you closer, right? Connection looks like a lot of different things, but it's that moment that can happen platonically or intimately when
Okay.
you feel held, metaphorically or physically, with another person. When you feel, when I made that joke and you laughed because you understood and you got it, or with another, when you feel like I'm with you in this moment, and you hear me, you see me, you know that I'm in this space with you, and you feel like I'm right there next to you. That feels like connection, and that feels really good. It feels very calming to the system. It feels very validating. That's connection.
Okay, connection is why we're here. It's what gives us purpose and meaning to our lives. Now, I understand what the quote means. I think I do, but I'm not so sure. Would you be kind enough to give me some instances? It could be, it could be personal, it could be other examples, but it just has to be stories, right? Where it goes on to illustrate what it means for connection to give us purpose and meaning to our lives.
Well, I mean, day in and day out, I sit with couples who are feeling mostly disconnected.
Okay.
I would say that's why they arrive in my office, is because they don't feel connected. They don't necessarily have that language. They will come in complaining about their sex life or their communication. That's oftentimes the language they use. But really, I think what it boils down to is lack of connection. They don't feel important to one another. They don't feel seen or heard. They're more in the business of life, and they've broken down. And so they're looking toward, how do we fix this? How do we get back into that groove where we felt good together? And how do we, they always want to go back to the beginning. And sometimes they actually never had real intimacy ever. Maybe they had some fun and maybe they had a good sex life in the beginning. But intimacy is different. Like actually having real connection and intimacy is different. It's having safety, emotional safety. It's having reciprocity. It's having this like willingness to sort of drop some guards and be there. Now, like a mother-child is different, right? That's more of a one directional. But in a partnership, even in a friendship, it's reciprocal. So it's sort of both parties are on board to give and receive this unguarded attention and allowance and this connection. You're open for connection.
Okay. So the next follow-up question would make sense to say, how do we facilitate connection?
How do we facilitate it? I think that it's as much about what we say as how we say it. Tone matters. The speed at which you speak matters. Body language is huge. It's like how are you leaning in? What are you saying with your eyes when you're asking or telling a response to somebody? It's all in there. That's why texting is so difficult, because texting, a lot gets lost. And I think a lot of younger people rely heavily on texting, and they're really opposed to phone. And they're getting worse and worse at communication. But a willingness to sort of have this exchange, and within even a single conversation, you can have an ebb and flow that can go through multiple emotions. But having this back and forth that is going to let you feel something and give something and take something. You know what I mean? It's not like you're presenting, you're giving and receiving.
Yeah.
And you have to be willing to be present for it.
Yeah. Well, what are some of the things that what's the word, that strip us of um connection, even though when we're having conversations, when we're working with people where there is no connection? What are those things that they just they drive they delete the connection? uh,
Meaning like when you're with somebody and you feel like there is no connection and you can't figure out what's wrong.
Let's take a quick pause. If you're enjoying this conversation and want more thought-provoking ideas straight to your inbox, join the Relatable Wisdom email list. It's free, quick, and filled with bite-sized insights, inspiring quotes, and behind-the-scenes reflections from our guests. Just head to relatablewisdom.com/join. That is relatablewisdom.com/join, or tap the link in the show notes. And hey, subscribing to the podcast helps more than you think, and it's free. So if you haven't already, hit that follow button wherever you're listening. All right, let's get back to the conversation.
yeah, like what are some of the causes some of the things, earlier on you mentioned all the things we could do to facilitate connection. What are the things that you've noticed, right, that if you do these things, it will reduce the connection? Or could I use the word reduce? Is connection something we can say, oh, small connection, high connection?
Yeah, I'd say something maybe that strains a connection or causes disconnection.
Oh yeah,
I would
disconnection. Yeah, that's the word.
I would say judgment. If people feel judged, that makes them feel more guarded, because judgment in a relationship does not feel good. And judgment doesn't even have to be overt. It can come in the way of right? It can be a look. It can be
Bombastic side there.
right? It's like if you don't feel heard, if you don't get to share equally, if you feel shut down in any various ways, if someone picks up their phone while you're talking to them, right? That feels like disconnection all the time. You can't believe how many couples complain of one of them picking up the phone. It's like, this is a complaint that happens from people of all ages. But there's lots of ways where it's like, I don't feel like I matter. That's shorthand for disconnection. And it feels painful. It feels like a dismissal. It feels like a threat on some really basic primal level. Disconnection feels like threat, because it kind of is.
Yeah.
Like this relationship, this connection is under threat.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So some of the things that you mentioned earlier on, and just for me to extrapolate it and just say it, in my own words. And one of the common thing is, this age and time, one of the prevalent addiction is phone addiction. And so when people are having conversation, it's just like we're having this conversation right now. And while you're having this conversation, I'm bending my head and I'm looking at my phone, and like, what's going on? I don't say anything. I'm like, yeah, yeah. And then when you finish talking, I'm like, okay. So what did you? Yeah. The next question I want to ask you is this. And when you start asking the question, I'm like, okay, yeah, 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 yeah. Nice, nice,
Right.
nice. Uh, and
Right. It's
and
like you don't feel
any
like you're listening at all.
yeah, anything, right, that looks like our we're not seeing, we like, that makes someone looks like they're invisible, right? And I feel like, just from experience, I feel like a reduced connection when you, for example, I could have in parties, for example, right? And I'm not just talking about intimate relationship, right? In parties, for example, you're having a conversation with someone and you see them, they're always looking at a different gathering, like they want to leave that place, and I'm like, they're not even there with you, and it's just feel like you're just
It's
talking.
interesting too, because there's certain people that are so charismatic, and certain politicians have been described this way. You know, they come at you, they shake your hand, they look you in the eye, they make you feel like the only person in the room, even though they're talking to everybody, but they make you feel really important. And those people are quite successful typically because they make you feel good. People in relationship, though, that can navigate in and out of, social situations or whatever, but they know when to be there and they can turn toward their partner and be present in that way. Boy, that means a lot, as opposed
Well,
to the disconnection that can happen in 1,000 ways because we're busy and distracted.
yeah, I guess the thing will be, both in relationships and intimate relationship, as well as the case of a politician talking to potential voters, right? The thing is, if you're married, for example, the your partner, you can't always be with your partner, right? You go to work, you have your life, you have things that you're doing, and let's say if you come back, let's say you have a 9 to 5, you spend about 2 hours to get prepared for the 9 to 5. So you wake up 6, you prepare, and you get there and you come back. And so from that 5, 6 to maybe 3, 4 hours that you spend with your partner, the whole idea is to be there, right? Because a lot of persons, right, they are there, but they're thinking about work. They're there, but they're preoccupied with something else. So it's like, over here they'll say, "Oh, your body's here, but your spirit is somewhere else."
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah, because also, can you compartmentalize? It's hard sometimes to tuck, like wrap up work and leave it there and then go home and really be present for your person, because your mind can keep going. I mean, your mind, can have free rent up there, and it can just keep on thinking about work if you're really work obsessed. And so even if you're not looking at your phone or your computer, you can still be highly distracted or checked out by looking at, TV or
Yeah,
whatever. And so I think disconnection, it happens a lot. And it's like, I think we're inundated with media and with lots of distraction. And I see more and more people with kind of presenting ADHD. It's just like of competing,
yeah.
there's a
There's
lot of
there's
competing information. And so connection, being intentional and being present, is harder and harder. And so it's a decision, it's a choice.
There's something you mentioned. You mentioned the example of a politician. The idea, most people feel when they talk about connection, what comes to most person's mind is, oh, if I spend maybe 20 hours with someone, I'll be more connected to them. It's about, for a politician, if they're shaking your hand, sometimes they don't even spend up to 20 seconds to shake your hands, right? But that split seconds, right? They're there. They're with you. Every other thing
Yeah.
is outside. Right? And so it's the same thing. It could be maybe 1 minute you're having a conversation, right? That short time, just be there. It's not, the idea is not, oh, spend 1 hour, spend 2 hours. Of course, you'll be doing other things too. But when you're talking to someone, you should be there and not give, what's the word, zombie responses. Yeah, you're like, yeah, 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 You're like, I'm like, what did I say? I don't know. What were you saying?
Yeah. Well, and you can't get away with that with your partner, because they know too much. But also we do that all the time at home, right? You get grunts from somebody on the couch because they're trying to like get back to the show or get back to their phone or get back to their dinner, right? They don't want to like stop bugging me, you know?
Uh,
So like, mhm, I get it.
uh, yeah. It's not easy though to shut down everything and just look someone in the eye and say you like it's a skill, and I don't know people how they do it, but I'm curious to know how it's done. To just to let because at that split second, it's as if the time is at a standstill, and you just the one that matters. And even though time goes on, you like the moment lives on in your head, and you're like, yeah. I remember that time I shook hands with that celebrity, that politician, and like, yeah,
Yeah, but it's also, I would say, if you have a mindfulness practice, this is about it, right? We only have the moment we're in. I mean, truly, you can sort of be distracted and thinking about other things, but really you only have this moment right now. So you're effective in the moment that you're in the time, in who you're spending it with, which might just be yourself. But if you practice being super present in that moment, you're going to have better relationships. You're going to feel more connected to self and to the other person too. And they're going to feel it. It's more satisfying.
yeah. Wow. Uh, so far we've talked about connection, and I know we rubbed it off on platonic relationships, and we also talked about it for intimate relationships. What would be the key takeaway you want my listeners to take away from this episode?
Well, I think, kind of what I just touched on is that this is something that is attainable for anybody, is the idea of connection to self first and then connection to other. Because ultimately, like, it's so much more rewarding, but you do have to have a relationship to self, right? If you're constantly seeking outside, you're kind of, it's a self-perpetuating cycle. You're not going to be fulfilled. So part of this is enjoying your own company. And then when you're present with somebody else, you're still within yourself, but then you're also enjoying them, right? But you're not leaving yourself to just perform for them or to be sort of like entertained by them. You're actually staying within yourself and having a relational experience with them. It's very different.
Yeah,
It's very different, right? Not just, I
yeah,
don't just want you to like me. I like myself and I want to have an experience of you with you.
yeah. I think it takes loving yourself to know how to love others.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
I think it does.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. Jen. It's like the conversation just felt really cozy. Like, the other thing I don't have here is what's the word now? A cup of milk, or maybe coffee, or a
Little
cold
hot chocolate
water,
or something.
a hot chocolate. Yeah, something to just, wash it down and digest some of the points we just dropped in. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute delight chatting with you. Where
Yeah.
can listeners learn more about what you do?
Sure. They can find me at pleasureproject.com.
Are you the host of Pleasure Project?
I am.
Wow. This is exciting. Wow. This is brilliant. Okay, thepleasureproject.com. Okay.
No, just pleasureproject.com.
Okay. Pleasureproject.com. Be sure to put a
Yep.
link in the description. And
Yep.
thank you so much. It's been an absolute
Yeah.
delight chatting with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds good. Thank you.
You've been listening to Relatable Wisdom, and I've been your host, Wisdom Okonkwo. You've been listening to the podcast where every story, quote, and insight helps you see life a little differently. If you enjoyed today's episode, follow the show on your favorite podcast app and share it with someone who would love the conversation. For more inspiring voices and timeless wisdom, visit relatablewisdom.com. Until next time, keep living, learning, and collecting wisdom that matters most to you.